Thunder Bay moves into the next phase of temporary shelter village development. Good evening, I'm Haley Perot. Thank you for joining us. Now that the Hilliard site is the confirmed location for the temporary shelter village, the city is moving forward with the next steps. During a media briefing today, city staff said this includes various site assessments, picking the shelter village's design, and future community consultation. Jessica Clement has the details.
City assessments of the Hilliard site for the temporary shelter village are now underway. The property is currently a wooded lot at the end of Alloy Place, close to the Carrick Street off-leash dog park. Thunder Bay's Director of Strategy and Engagement, Cynthia Olson, notes the site assessment should be completed in a couple of weeks.
They include archaeological assessment, environmental impact studies, environmental site assessment, flood assessment, and we'll also be conducting an on-site safety assessment like we've done with other locations with community partners. Once we get through those phases, we'll be able to review the findings, discuss any mitigation measures that might be required, and then move into design.
Olson says they don't have an exact timeline for when shovels will be in the ground, but are hopeful to get construction started sometime in August. She notes the design-build RFP has been extended to August 1st to give contractors the chance to reassess their submissions based on the new location.
Part of our project timeline was to begin construction in August. Obviously we're right at the brink of August starting at the end of this week, so we're still hopeful that we'll be able to meet those timelines. That's really tied to our funding agreement with for the $2.8 million in capital.
Several business owners and residents have voiced their opposition to the Hilliard site, with an online petition receiving over 250 signatures so far. The petition creator declined an interview, but says they take issue with how the project was approved without public consultation, adding that the neighborhood on the south side of Beverly Street is already under pressure due to more break-ins, trespassing, and theft. Olson says they are aware of the concerns brought up by area businesses, and they're open to engaging with them.
We are actually working towards doing a specific session for the nearby businesses, date and time, location, all to be determined, but we are working with the support of the Chamber of Commerce, who has been connected with those businesses.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Thunder Bay police are continuing to investigate a sudden death that occurred over the weekend in the area near Thunder Center. City police officers and other first responders were dispatched to the area of Fort William Road and Isabel Street shortly after 10:30 yesterday morning. The body of an adult female had been located in the vicinity of the McIntyre River. Superior North EMS were called in, but police quickly determined the woman was deceased. No further information is available at this time. Police won't say whether the death appears to be criminal or non-criminal until after a post-mortem has been conducted. A visible police presence remains in the area, but police say there is no current threat to public safety. The mayor of Oliver Papoonge is voicing strong opposition and concerns over the controversial designated truck route approved by Thunder Bay City Council. Oliver Papoonge Mayor Lucy Kloosterhoos warns it could have devastating consequences for the village of Kekabeka Falls and other parts of her rural municipality. Justin Hardy reports.
None of us want to see a tragedy. None of us want to see anyone hurt or killed. And it matters not if it's 2 cars or 2 trucks or a big truck. It doesn't matter.
Kloosterhoos says the planned routing of heavy truck traffic along Highway 1117, which starts on October 1st and cuts directly through the village of Kekabeka Falls, will be extremely destructive and dangerous, especially with the Kekabeka Falls Elementary School located directly along the route.
Oh, it makes me very nervous. My children did go there when they were younger. The school buses bring the children there, but when they leave, how are they ever going to turn to go back across 2 lanes of highway with all these trucks to go and bring these children back home? The chances of someone being hurt are so great. And we have a seniors' home on the north side of the highway. All the facilities are on the south side.
Much of the route in question between the Thunder Bay Expressway and Kekabeka remains 2 lanes. Kloosterhoos says she's disappointed that rural concerns were considered more seriously during the decision-making process. She adds that the municipality also tried to negotiate with the MTO, but those discussions haven't led anywhere.
I don't know what the MTO is going to do. We've asked them for all kinds of things. We've asked for lights. We've asked for, some kind of slower traffic. It's just not going to happen. They've said no to everything. And my biggest fear is death. It really is.
Kloosterhuis proposes a temporary solution of keeping truck traffic split evenly between Highway 102 and Highway 1117 to reduce the burden on any one community. She also hopes the long-discussed Chappaqua Expressway extension will eventually reroute truck traffic away from both residential corridors. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
Major renovations are now underway at Delaney Arena. The $2.6 million project is intended to bring the facility back up to its usual standards. The work includes removing the old boards, insulation, and flooring. Last week, crews poured the giant slab for underneath the ice surface. It's currently wet curing under a sheet of water to produce stronger concrete. The main part of the project was aimed at dealing with repeated floor failures that affected the coolant system and reduced operations last season. The arena is also getting new penalty boxes and reconfigured stands if potential funding comes in from the province. Capitol Facilities Construction Manager Kelvin Jankowski says the repairs were urgently needed with how popular the arena is.
Delaney Arena is obviously prime time is fully booked 7 days a week during the ice season, and then it switches over to summer sports. I believe at one time lacrosse was in here, and they're over at another arena right now for obvious reasons, but they'll probably come back and be used for the summer as well.
Completion of the work is expected by September 15th, with the arena fully operational by October 1st. Residents and town officials in Sioux Lookout are expressing shock and disbelief that the community's beer store outlet will be closing its doors in mid-September. It's the third town in the Northwest to be targeted for a store closure in the past year, and Mayor Doug Lawrence says there was no forewarning from beer store officials. Jonathan Wilson reports.
My neighbor said, "Hey, the beer store is closing." And I said, "I beg your pardon." Couldn't believe it.
Mayor Doug Lawrence says he immediately went online and found the announcement on the beer store's website that 10 more retail outlets around the province would be closing in 2 months, including the only beer store in Sioux Lookout.
I'm very surprised that we didn't have any notice of it, and I've asked around. I think everybody here is surprised, including the retailers who currently sell beer. I would think that there was considerable volume and considerable profit from the beer store here. And I'm not sure why it needs to close precipitously at the expense of people's jobs and perhaps convenience of people and businesses in Sioux Lookout.
The beer store is privately owned by the major brewing companies and has seen its market share drop after the province expanded alcohol sales to convenience stores. Last summer, the beer store closed its outlets in Nipigon and Geraldton, much to the surprise of the mayors of those two communities, and they were unable to get the consortium to keep them open. Lawrence says it's a long way to the next nearest beer store.
Dryden, I assume, still has a beer store. Did yesterday. It's 100 kilometers away, and we have the LCBO sells a limited amount of beer, very limited, I would say, and two retailers in town also sell beer, but not in the kind of quantity that the beer store does, or out of the same kind of facility.
As for the recycling of beer, wine, and liquor bottles, Nipigon and Geraldton have seen community groups start collecting them and bringing them in large quantities to beer stores in other communities and collecting the deposit money to pay for the transportation. Lawrence says there will be other impacts too.
The physical space that the beer store had can't be duplicated overnight, including the recycling, which is huge. And then there's camps and hotels and restaurants that would rely on the beer store too for supply, delivery of supply and return of empties. And I don't know what the plan is. There is no plan. I think it's evolving as we speak.
The beer store closure will take effect on September 14th. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
Despite the rainy weather over the weekend, the annual Buskers Festival went ahead in the Bay Algoma district. The two-day festival drew in thousands of attendees to check out the vibrant mix of live music, street performances, and artistic displays. Emma Chilton was there.
The Bay and Algoma area was alive with music and jaw-dropping performances this weekend as thousands turned out for the annual Buskers Festival. Performers captivated audiences with everything from music performances to fire eating. Buskers Festival coordinator Uriel Lubak says even though the rainfall on Saturday did end the festival at 5 p.m., the event still had a great turnout.
People really came to experience vibrant streets and some awesome talent from out of town and in town until we just got some crazy torrential downpour, and we pretty much called the festival, and then all the vendors left, and there was like a smaller nighttime event with our out-of-town performers that we kind of kept going.
Day 2 of the festival started a bit wet from the thunderstorm and delayed the start for about an hour, but once the rain stopped, the event was in full swing. Families lined the streets watching the buskers give their best performances. The festival once again demonstrated the strong appreciation and enthusiastic support the community has for talented street performers. From the large crowds gathered around each act to the generous applause and donations, it was clear that performers hold a place in the hearts of local residents. Emma Chilton, TBT News.
Thunder Bay area residents had the alert sounding on their cell phones this past weekend with 3 severe thunderstorm warnings and the threat of potential tornadoes. No actual twisters have been confirmed so far by official sources, but people are still talking about those ominous clouds that rolled in late yesterday morning. Social media was buzzing with photos and videos of what meteorologists describe as a shelf cloud. It passed over several rural areas west of Thunder Bay just after 11 o'clock Sunday morning before entering the city. Right behind that fast-moving cloud came heavy rains and strong winds, which snapped many trees around the area. It also caused power outages in Nebing, Oliver Papoonge, and Thunder Bay, where about 1,700 Synergy North customers were left without electricity for some time. Officials with the Northern Tornadoes Project at Western University are asking area residents to send photos and videos of any potential tornadoes or tornado damage from the weekend storm. Well, and the saying typically goes the calm before the storm, but now, Fiona, I'm hoping to see the calm after the storm.
Yeah, things are actually looking pretty good because this weekend, wow, a lot going on, some pretty cool photos. You know, big thank you to all of our residents who sent them to us because those are fabulous. If you want to see where those systems were today, for the most part, that is what brought thunderstorms and a lot of gusty winds to the region in the late night hours, but moved out today. We're looking at round 2, maybe round 3. That's heading our way for this evening possibly. But as you can see, as it moved through, starting to weaken already. So just a slight chance of a thunderstorm this evening, but still possibility for more rain. Today we had a low of 19. That's very warm for the overnight temperatures, but warmed up to 28 under partly cloudy skies and a humidex that made it feel closer to 34. Winds were quite light from the northwest, 5 to 20 kilometers an hour. Now that northwest flow has started to affect Red Lake once again. More smoke in the area, although Fort Frances enjoying some sunshine at this time. Through much of the region today, we saw humidex values of about 30, 31, kind of across the board. The one area not experiencing quite that high a temperature and a humidex value is the Red Lake region. Their humidex felt closer to about 24. We've got mostly cloudy skies at this hour in Greenstone, although it was partly cloudy for much of the day, and also mostly cloudy as you head along the eastern shores of Lake Superior into Sault Ste. Marie. Here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, as I mentioned, risk of a thunderstorm in the evening, and then a 40% chance of showers as we see the last tail end of that second round moving through. Very mild night, though, again, a low of 16 with winds very light from the northwest, 5 to 10 kilometers an hour. Now, as we look at the week ahead, here is the calm after the storm that Haley was mentioning. Lots of sunshine for the rest of the week once we get through tonight. And temperatures will be seasonal or even slightly above seasonal. All I care about is that we cut that humidex level down just a titch. It's a little muggy on the weekend, and I find that exhausting. How about you?
I totally agree, Fiona. I would rather my weekends not be sticky, but you know what? We'll take what we can get. Sunshine sounds great, so look forward to hearing more about that. Thank you.
Absolutely.